Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with more reactions for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Admittedly, been a couple of weeks. It has been a couple of weeks since the last reaction. Some kind of like more personal issues forced the show and the reactions onto the back burner just for a little while. So I do apologize for the delay, but it is back now. So hopefully from here on out, stuff kind of gets a bit more on track, and I'm looking into actually, picking a lot of shows back up onto the channel towards the end of this year as well. So hopefully things actually go to plan. So yeah, Buffy is back. So now on to episode number 7. And as I'm recording this as well, I mean, just like a happy holidays in general to even people who don't celebrate it. But as I'm recording this, I'm actually hoping to get this up, over over the weekend of this holiday season. But it is Thanksgiving holiday season, so to those of you who do celebrate it, then happy Thanksgiving. And to those of you who don't, if you're still celebrating in some way, be it indirectly or just any way at all, then just like a happy holidays in general. But it is Thanksgiving holiday season, so happy Thanksgiving and all that. But yeah, so yeah, just want to quickly just throw that out there. I won't be celebrating because I'm not American and I'm not in America. But yeah, but consider this, consider this, these reactions returning being like, somewhat of like a, maybe even like a minor Thanksgiving kind of gift from me to you, or even like a holiday gift or something. So yeah, but yeah, so now on to episode number 7 of season 1 of Buffy. Last time, what did we have? I think we had the hyenas. Yeah, the hyenas. The pack episode. Xander and some school bullies. Who were possessed by some hyenas who went through some rituals with some ancient. I think they were Mayan. I think they mentioned they were Mayan, or like some. I think Mayan, or like some kind of tribe that had actually believed in animal, supremacy, the supremacy of the animal spirit over the human soul and everything. So they actually tried to conduct some kind of rituals that would actually transfer the animal spirit into the human body and actually try and turn them into, like more animalistic kind of beings and everything. So they believed in that. And then the hyenas that were brought into the zoo were actually quarantined because they were, specifically that, but then also because the zookeeper in charge actually wanted the hyena palace for himself too. So he actually, set up the entire place to be perfect for the ritual, but then the kids got to it before he did, and then they actually managed to get possessed. So we had an entire episode with an evil hyena possessed Xander, like a Xander that is essentially turned evil, and he turned his back on Buffy, and he turned his back on Willow as well. Like Willow more brutally than Buffy, and then Buffy was more than willing to actually handle him in whatever way she needed to in order to actually try and get him to snap out of him and become the Xander that they knew and loved again, which they did by the end of it. But then the episode did not come without its own kind of hardships and kind of shocking setbacks and everything. Like they ate the school mascot, which was actually newly revealed to be a pig. A pig was like the newly hired kind of school mascot, and then they ate the pig. I think Xander. I think Xander caught Buffy actually investigating the remains of the pig having been eaten, and then the kids were too busy with the principal being punished for having eaten the pig. But then they turned even more savage and they ate the principal, Principal Flutie. He was literally devoured by hyena possessed teenagers. So yeah, the episode took like a couple of shocking turns here and there. So they did some stuff, and now I think, but by the end of it, the process was reversed when the zookeeper actually took all the animal spirits from the kids into himself, and then Buffy managed to roundhouse kick him back into the hyena's den, and then he got eaten and stuff. So yeah, and then I think by the end of it, Xander did actually lie to Buffy and Willow, saying that like he blacked out and he didn't really remember anything and he just kind of had memory loss and stuff. But then Giles did tell him like, I read the law. There's no mention of memory loss, so either it's missing or even more likely you're lying because you don't want to, have to face that truth, or you don't want to have to hurt them by actually further confronting that truth and everything. So he remembers everything he did, and then the other kids like remember everything, because I think the other kids were the only ones who actually ate the principal and the pig. But then like Xander, I think he has the added kind of pressure of actually having hurt Willow, having hurt his best friend, and having hurt Buffy too. So everyone's got their fair share of like actual kind of trauma and stuff to have to deal with after that. So it was a pretty dark episode, like a fairly dark episode. I think probably like one of the darkest of the season so far. So good to know exactly what kind of directions in terms of Monster of the Week stuff that this season is headed in. So that's all well and fun. But yeah, no. So yeah, on to episode number 7. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's actually sort of something I've been thinking about a little bit. I think for the most part, these all do seem to be fairly like I think it's been kind of explained before that season 1 again is the show finding its footing. So I think a lot of these episodes do seem fairly Monster of the Week or Villain of the Week in terms of like the characters and the stories and everything, which I think is it's kind of. It feels refreshing every couple of episodes, and I think I am still not in any way being discouraged, like not in any way feeling discouraged from continuing the show. I know season 2, I've heard season 2 is where things really kick off and where things actually get going. So I'm, I can deal with slow burn. I can deal with actually waiting until things actually get really good again. If there's one show that actually proved that it gets good after a while, is Shield. So I think I've learned a lot from that show and a lot from its seasons and its kind of season structure and everything. So Buffy, I am more than willing to actually keep going, pushing through and seeing where this journey takes me, both good and bad and really, really ugly in terms of emotion. So yeah, so that is pretty much, I think that's pretty much all I've actually picked up from the last one. Just a simple kind of, or the simple-ish kind of episode with some hyena possession and evil Xander and stuff like that. So yeah, on to episode number 7, the reaction for episode number 7, and you guys will probably know the drill by now. This one will just be the fair use version with the highlights of the episode and everything, but if you want the full-length version, which will be the unedited reaction where you can watch the entire episode along with it, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. You just need your own copy of the episode, which will be not the one on Disney Plus, but like the actual original formatted kind of episode, and then you can sync it up and it'll be good to go and everything. So that'll be fun too. But yeah, Buffy, episode number 7 of season 1. Let's go.
Annihilator.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Oh god. Okay, so they're already beginning his Anointed One training then. Yeah. Oh, 3 biker dudes. Or 3 bald dudes. Oh, the three dudes in armor. Are they armored? Whoa, they're armored.
Angel? Good to see him in a relationship. Hi, honey, you're in grave danger. I'll see you next month. He's not around much.
Yeah, talk about long distance. The distance being time. The time between when you see him and when you don't. Oh, Xander. Oh.
Dino, just leave.
Oh, God. Oh, Cordelia's back. Yeah, Cordelia was missing the entirety of last episode. I actually didn't even notice that until afterwards.
Show yourself.
Oh, Jesus, the 3 in armor. Yeah, goddamn. Oh, they really are just 3 vampires in shiny armor. And chainmail, they've got the whole medieval thing going on. Are they really that old? Are they that old? Angel, now would be a great time to try and do your thing. Or maybe after the theme song. Maybe after the bopping theme song. I can definitely wait till after the theme song. Oh, there he is. Okay, yeah, okay, they're gonna tag team. Buffy and Angel versus the 3. Yes, tag team. Do a tag team. Oh, there we go. Yeah, saving her man. Yeah, Buffy saving her man. Do they have the same rule where they can't be invited in? Do vampires in this one have the same rule where they can't enter unless they're invited in? I mean, well, these guys were willing to rush in, so I don't know for sure.
A vampire can't come in unless it's invited.
Okay, yeah, good thing I mentioned that. Then, okay, yeah. I'm always curious as to how traditional the vampire lore in this is actually going to go. So, no invitation, no entry. Good to know. Oh, he's got a tattoo. What kind of tattoo? What's the tattoo? Is that a bird? I saw a wing. Is that a bird?
You go upstairs and get into bed and I can bring you some hot tea.
That's sweet. What'd you do?
Oh, that's so kind of you. What have you done this time?
Oh,
Oh, she's brought a man home. She's brought a guy home.
Angel, this is my mom.
Oh, they're pretending that he's got. Okay, wow. Is that really gonna help? Because what if she comes into your room and still sees him there?
Well, what does your family think of your career choice?
They're dead.
How old is he? Like, is he like centuries old or something?
And then did he,
Perfect gentleman.
Buffy, come on, wake up and smell the
Wait,
seduction.
did he
It's
what?
the oldest trick in the book.
What?
Like,
Saving my life?
turn around or so, or what?
Duh. I mean,
Or like offer to
as a girl. I once drank a
not take the
gallon
bed?
of Gatorade without taking a
don't know.
breath.
It seems you encountered the three.
The
Warrior
three.
vampires. Very proud and very strong.
Warriors make
How is
sense.
it you always know this stuff? You always know what's going on. I never know what's going on.
Well, you weren't here
Well, you're not a
till
watcher.
midnight until 6 researching it.
You're also not a watcher.
Buffy, you should stay at my house and tell these samurai guys their history.
What?
Don't worry about Angel. Willow can run to your house and tell him to get out of town.
Angel and Buffy are not in any
Jesus.
immediate jeopardy. Eventually, the master.
This kid's already getting his
Power
vampire training.
comes responsibility.
With great
True.
power comes
They did
great
fail, but
responsibility.
also true.
Whoa, they got weapons. They got weapons for
Nice
days.
steaks. Hello, flying fatality.
Yeah, crossbow.
Okay, shoot.
The crossbow comes later.
They got like an axe and like a mace or something. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you're definitely the one who's gonna need pads. You're definitely a good thing you got pads. Yeah, that's it. She's ready for the crossbow, or maybe even like a dual wielding thing, a dual wielding situation.
So, what'd you do all day?
Wait for her to come back.
And just thought about a lot of things. Buffy,
My diary? You don't even know what I was writing about. Hunk can mean a lot of things, bad things.
Hunk.
And when Caesar tried to penetrating, I meant to write. And A doesn't even stand for Angel for that matter. Ahmed, a charming foreign exchange student. So that
Ahmed.
whole fantasy part has nothing to even do with you at all.
your mother moved your diary when she came in to straighten up the laundry in the closet. I didn't need it, I swear.
Oh, Buffy exposed herself. Exposing herself in 4K. Yeah. Oh god.
I really can't be around you.
Oh. 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 Buffy and Angel. Is there a ship name? Is there a name? Bangel, maybe Bangel. Oh damn. Oh, full on making out. Okay. Okay. What is happening? Only took. Ooh. Reveal time, baby. Damn, they make out, then he transforms, really? Okay.
I saw a shadow.
Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Angel is a vampire. Angel is a vampire.
I know you have feelings for this guy, but it's not like you're in love with him, right? You're in love with a vampire? What, are you out of your mind?
God.
Not vampire. How could you love an umpire? Everyone has...
Vampire.
Where did you get that dress?
An
This is
umpire.
a one-of-a-kind Todd Oldham. Cheesy knockoff.
Oh, polka dots really on a dress? Like, I mean, that many polka dots?
We have
That's just...
problems.
That seems really on the nose. Angel's not bad, and I'm not just saying that because he has a spin-off show, you know. Would a bad vampire get a spin-off show? I mean, maybe. Just maybe, but still.
A lifetime.
Or two, but who's counting?
Lifetime.
What's
They have
with the
history.
Catholic schoolgirl look?
They have history?
Last time
Darla
I
and
saw
Angel have
you,
history?
those kimonos.
Remember Budapest?
They got Budapest in their history too. Damn, it's like Black Widow and Hawkeye all over again.
You're not one of them.
Oh, sunlight. Oh no, sunlight. Yeah, oh, sunlight hurts. Oh, he has blood in the fridge. He's got blood in the fridge.
You and I both know what you hunger for.
So did he steal that from hospitals and stuff?
Hey, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Talk to her. Tell her about the curse. Maybe she'll come
The
around.
curse. What's the curse? Damn, his cheekbones are immaculate. What's the curse? Is he cursed with great cheekbones? What's the curse?
That must have been so embarrassing when you thought he had read your diary, but then it turned out he hadn't, but then he felt the same way.
You keep going, Willow. Keep
Mentioned
going.
some 200 years ago in Ireland of Angelus. the one with the angelic face.
Angelus.
They got that right.
Yeah, that'd be Angel.
I'm not saying anything. I have nothing to say.
Oh, God.
A tattoo behind his right shoulder.
He
Yeah, it's
does.
like a bird or something.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying something. You saw me naked?
So Angel's been
Topless.
around
There's a
for while.
difference. Topless.
Vampire. He comes to America, shuns other vampires, and lives alone. There's no,
He
no
shuns the other vampires. He leaves them. He
So he is a good
departs.
vampire.
Yeah.
Reconstruction began after the construction, which was shoddy, so they had to reconstruct.
After the destruction of the Civil War.
When you have to fill the word count on an essay, that's what you do. Just, yeah.
Are we gonna talk about boys, or are we gonna help you pass history?
Maybe Angel could help you pass history. He, lived it.
Sometimes
He lived it.
I have this fantasy that Xander's just gonna grab me and kiss me right on the lips.
You want Xander?
Really?
You gotta speak up.
Oh, what about the children?
Well, anyone who's seen Twilight will know kind of where that's headed. Mm.
Then I'm going home for some major moping.
Okay.
Oh, she's gonna track her down at her house, isn't she? She's gonna be waiting at home to try and kill her or talk to her or something. Oh no, Joyce. Joyce. Oh no. Is it Joy or is it Joy? Is it Joyce or Joy? I think it's Joyce, right? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, don't open it. Don't invite them in. It's really late. You got shit to do, Joyce. You got business. They can go mind themselves. Don't invite them in.
Willow's the Civil War expert, but then I was supposed to help her with the War of Independence. My family kind of goes back to those days.
Oh, I'm fucking
Well,
sure.
I know
I'm
she's supposed to be
fucking
home,
well
so would you
sure.
like to come in and wait?
It's very nice of you to invite me into your home.
Ooh, Joyce, what have you done? Danger! Don't tell me she was bitten. Do not tell me she was bitten.
Let her go.
Oh, Angel, no. Angel, no, you're stronger than this. You're stronger than this, Angel. Don't resist it. Angel, resist.
Home.
Oh, that's gonna. Oh, that looks so bad. That looks terrible. That looks terrible. Oh no. Oh, that looks terrible. That looks absolutely terrible. Oh yeah, that out the window. You're yeeting him out the window. You touch the mama, she yeets you out the window.
You come near us and I'll kill you.
Oh no. God damn you, Darla. God damn you to hell.
My friend.
I guess I slipped into.
Oh, please mention it was a woman. Please mention it was her.
Looked like a barbecue fork.
Please mention it was Darla.
I just came to pay my respects. Wish you a speedy recovery.
He's very caring.
Teachers
He's very
really do
caring.
care in this town.
He's very caring, yes. Yeah.
Get some rest now.
Oh, please mention it was Darla. Please remember it was Darla. Tell her it was Darla, not Angel. Oh, God. See, this is the kind of angst I hate. This is the angst I hate. I hate this.
I invited him into my home. Even after I knew who he was, what he was, and I didn't do anything about it. Because I had feelings for him, because I cared about him.
I think this is gonna take more than a simple steak.
So do I.
Oh, the crossbow. She's gonna try and use the crossbow on frickin' Angel. God damn it. Oh,
She's
God.
out hunting you, right?
Well, I mean, again, we know she either doesn't do it or he doesn't die somehow because, again, spin-off incoming. So, something clearly happens. Oh, great, now I've got hiccups.
She's studying with Willow. She's studying with Darla. I mean, she is trying.
Darla.
Yes, Darla.
I believe I know.
Darla.
Yeah, the one who came over tonight.
Someone should
Let Buffy know, let Buffy know. Finally, finally, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We have a problem. Let's get it done.
Oh god, are they really gonna fight? They're really gonna duke it out? They're really gonna duke it out? Really? Oh.
Come on.
I invited you into my home, and then you attacked my family.
I killed mine.
He killed his
Their
own family?
friends And their friends' children.
Oh, must have been at the beginning. Oh, must have been at the
100 years,
beginning.
I offered an ugly death to everyone. I met.
Yeah.
And I did it with a song in my heart. With a favorite among her clan,
Clan?
the Romani.
The Romani.
Gypsies.
G-
The elders conjured the perfect punishment for me. They restored my soul.
Oh.
Torment.
When you become a vampire, the demon takes your body, but it doesn't get your soul. That's gone. No
Yeah.
conscience, no remorse. It's an easy
A
way.
reminder that you're dead and you can never be like humans
No
again.
idea what it's like to have done the things I've done. I didn't bite her,
And why didn't you say something?
but I wanted to.
Oh, you threw him out the window.
Go ahead.
Oh, the neck is exposed. The neck is exposed.
Just between us girls, you are looking a little worn around the eyes.
I made him.
Oh, nice.
Scary. Scary.
Oh, she got dual pistols. Darla came in dual wielding.
Bullets can't kill vampires.
Darla legit came in dual wielding pistols and shit. Damn, a vampire with pistols. That is a new one. That is a new one. Oh, crossbow to the heart. Oh, to the stomach. Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh, God, that's cool. That's a cool shot. Really can't get over the fact that she actually came in with dual pistols. Like, not even the one gun. Just actually came in, like, Deadpool with fangs.
Take it like a man.
Oh, God. Oh. Oh, was that in the heart? Was that in the heart? That was in the heart. That must have been in the heart, yeah. Yeah. Killed by her own creation. Talk about full circle. And once again, slinking into the shadows. Although I think with this time, with much better reason. Yeah.
But soon you shall rise. And when you do, you kill them all.
Yeah, this kid's on the fast track to become the frickin' anointed one. Yeah, Jesus.
In his way, I feel like he's still watching me.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Well, in a way, he sort of is. In the way of that he's right over there.
Oh, he's actually at the bronze? He's present? Oh, he's present. Yeah, he is ever present. An ever-present angel.
I don't need to watch because I'm not threatened.
One of us has to go here.
They're gonna kiss first though, right? They're gonna kiss first.
What's going on? As long as they're not kissing.
Yeah, totally not. Totally not. Totally not kissing. They're just cuddling for a long, long time. So is this like a somewhat more like semi-permanent exit? Like, are we only really going to see him in his actual show after this? Is he not really going to return to the... Whoa! What the... Is that a brand? Was that a brand of the crucifix? It looked like a crucifix on his chest. Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah. Angel-centric episode. Can't say I didn't like that. Cannot say I didn't like that because I did like that. I did enjoy that very much. I think an angel-centric kind of... I mean, I would say I've been waiting for it, but then at the same time, I've been waiting for it in the sense that I've actually, you know, still been enjoying as other stories and other kind of things that have been developing and other things have been executed, and now it feels like this has simultaneously been a long time in the making, but then also, you know, it's been like, you know, just be patient and enjoy the other stuff as well, because then that stuff is important too, and it will kind of, you know, be just as equally developmental and you know, valuable in terms of development in the long run. But then you get the angel stuff, and it's like, okay, now things are actually kind of picking up in terms of character and story and everything. So this was a really fun episode. Don't know where to start. Where to start with this. We had, I think, truth be told, right? I kind of wish they had actually saved the three warriors. I felt like the three warriors actually had like potential to be more and to be more useful in the future too. But then it's like one failure. I mean, we know the master is pretty lenient when it comes to failure and, you know, like failure to complete tasks and returning empty-handed, and it's not something he takes lightly. But it's not. It's not something he takes lightly, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you could easily give them one more chance and then kill them. Because again, it's like, I feel like the three warriors seem like, you know, like actual enemies and stuff with potential, but then they were just kind of used as like some kind of like a, you know, some kind of like a tool just to try and reintroduce Angel into the story, like giving Buffy another enemy to face that seemed impossible, but then Angel comes along, and then their teamwork is what actually allows them to escape the dangerous situation and everything. So then that's what forces them to return empty-handed. But I feel like they actually would have been fun to see in the future, and actually keeping them around would have been more kind of enjoyable, and actually seeing them pop up again in the future would have been greater. But no, we just get them in like the first 10 minutes. I mean, they're meant to be the Master's greatest warriors. Like even Giles saying, like, you know, oh, like the Master would not send the three unless he really meant business, and unless he really felt threatened by Buffy, he wouldn't risk sending the three, because they're like some of his greatest warriors, and they're just greatest warriors in their like own right and everything. And then it's like, oh great, well, you know, apparently one failure and he's willing to kill them all, you know, right off the bat. So apparently he doesn't really value them that much in the end. anyway. So, you know, I mean, again, leniency, but still, it's like, you know, again, just, give them like one final, like, threaten them with it, like, give them a warning or something, like, do like a Thanos, like, like, return to me empty-handed once again, and I'll bathe the starways in your blood, or something like that. Like actually give them like a death threat or like a warning ahead of time, so they can actually do that, and then, because then it would have made more sense, but then it would have actually made like been then it would have felt more appropriate. But with this one, it's like, oh, you returned to me empty-handed, so I'm just gonna kill you right off the bat because you can't get this job done. So I don't know, it just felt like a waste. It just felt like a waste of the three warriors. So that would be my only kind of gripe with them, because they seemed cool, and I think especially to begin with, I actually saw the armor plating, but I didn't see the chainmail, so I thought, oh, maybe they just have like armor plating, and maybe stuff that they've collected over the years, so maybe that's why they have armor. But then it's like the actual fight scene we saw them in, like they actually had chainmail, and they actually had like proper medieval looking armor, so it's like they are like some of the oldest kind of warriors there are too. So like they were likely turned into vampires during medieval times, which is centuries back and everything. So. But no, yeah, the three warriors just done and literally done and dusted, just like that. So I guess, yeah, I mean, again, we're only in the first season, so I think, going forward, I can only imagine they're going to bring even more powerful and even more deadly kind of warriors and, fighters and vampires out. So the three might just be where it begins, and then down the line we get even more formidable ones. So here's hoping we get better down the line, but. Yeah, the Warriors 3, not from Thor, but, from Buffy, even the Warriors 3 and Thor lasted, like, longer, they lasted, like, two movies, and then, like, 10 minutes in the third movie, so, yeah, that's pretty much it, so, yeah, Warriors 3, so, yeah. And like I mentioned too, the vampire rule too. So they do have it. I questioned it like not long before Angel actually clarified it himself. So they do have the rule where it's like a vampire cannot enter a property or like a domain or a territory unless they're actually specifically invited in. So it's good that they have that. So I think I'm always, I feel like I'm always going to be curious just how traditional they get, or how much lore and how much rules like they apply to the monsters and the vampires in this show, and it's especially the vampires, like it being kind of focal around vampires. I'm always going to be curious as to just how much they apply and how kind of traditional they go with this stuff. So they've gone pretty traditional there. So I think the no invitation, no entry thing, I think is like a pretty traditional one too. So like an actual pretty classic kind of rule applied to vampires. So it's actually cool to see that in effect here. And I think it's been interpreted in like different ways. And I think one of my favorite interpretations, or like one of my favorite visual displays of the consequences of that is I don't know if anyone's actually watched the UK version of Being Human. I haven't seen the US version of Being Human, which I've mentioned before, but the UK version, I think the penultimate season, because I think it was when Annie was still around, the penultimate season, kind of a spoiler alert, but in the penultimate season of that show, I think there was actually one vampire who actually tried to enter a house where he wasn't invited in. He actually asked one of the inhabitants who was dead at the time, who was a ghost, and he asked her to like ask me in so I can actually come in and do my thing, and then she was like no, and then he still wasn't an invited guest. So then it actually showed how until he's invited in, there's almost like a really deadly kind of force field surrounding the house that only kind of goes down or deactivates when he's actually invited in, like an invisible kind of force field. So then he tried to enter into the property, and then he literally started burning away in his flesh and his skin. Like, it was one of the most graphic vampire deaths I've personally ever seen. So that scene, like his flesh and his skin and everything just burned and melted away, and he was just like a mess by the time he actually got inside the house and everything. And he still ended up dying by an actual stake to the heart. So that happened. So that's actually what one of my favorite visual displays, like of the kind of actual kind of like sincerity behind that rule. Like, you really cannot enter. I still wonder what would happen in this. Like if that's it. Like, if that would be like another way they could die. Like, maybe if they actually still try and enter a place where they're not invited, and then maybe that actually fully kills them and they turn to dust, or if they just start kind of burning and smoking and stuff like that. Like, maybe it's like how sunlight and I don't know if garlic would work in this. I don't know if garlic is actually effective in this one, or if it's just sunlight. Because I think sunlight we've seen that hurts them. But I don't know if if you throw garlic at them, or if you just throw garlic on them, or try and trick them into eating some garlic bread, then maybe if that would do anything, if that would actually work. But garlic is another one. So I think I'm kind of, I guess I'm kind of eagerly awaiting to see what happens, like, you know, if like they actually do manage to trick a vampire into consuming garlic or coming near garlic, and then they just kind of react weirdly, but no, Sunlight we know, and now, you know, no invitation, no entry, so that rule does exist in Buffy, so that is good to know. That is very, very useful information. And the Master is training the Anointed One too. The Master is definitely training the Anointed One, and that kid is already a fucking savage. He's kind of like a savage, but then he's also like really, and I think it's because he's a kid too. Like, he's a child, and children, like, you know, especially at that age, they're really still in developmental stages. They're really kind of like, they're like sponges. They absorb anything and regurgitate, and, you know, like, you know, see the world around them according to how people around them act, and they're they're like absorbent that way too. So I think it kind of makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But you know, the kid is already kind of, you know, he's already, you know, pretty much like nose deep into, or like knees deep, nose deep, whichever deep, you know, into like the whole kind of vampire thing and being the Anointed One and the Master and everything. Like, he is now the Master's right hand. Like the Master is actively training him to be the Anointed One and to actually try and actually fit into that mantle and to be that. So I don't know if and when like a transformation thing is gonna happen, or if he's actually gonna get turned, or like what's gonna happen. Because I think the Anointed One. So I think the prophecy behind it, like from what I can remember, is meant to be like, you know, like the Slayer will not know who he is, but then he will drag the Slayer down to hell. So he's going to be the one to actually, I think, maybe actually bring Buffy down to the Hellmouth, because I think the Hellmouth is meant to be like the actual portal between Earth and Hell and stuff. It's meant to be like that kind of bridge and stuff. So he might be the one to actually bring her back down to the Hellmouth, and maybe she faces off against the Master too or something. So, you know, I don't know if that means that they're actually going to turn him into a vampire, or if maybe he's just going to get the necessary training or skills or something to actually do what needs to be done. But no, that kid is indeed. I think I'm not. I mean, I don't know if he looks kind of older. He looks older. I think it doesn't really seem like a lot of time has passed. I think if this show, I mean, presumably this show, like, you know, pretty much most, if not all, shows did follow that same kind of release format of one episode per week, meaning that there would be at least like a week's worth of kind of time distance between each episode's kind of storyline. So then, with that in mind, I think this wouldn't. You know, like I think the actual episode with the Anointed One thing, I think wouldn't have been like more than one or two episodes ago. So I think even then it's like wouldn't be like more than a couple of weeks. But the kid looks, I don't know if it's just because it's been a while since I've seen that episode, or if he actually does look older. Like, but he actually looks like kind of older, or like somewhat different compared to what he looked like back then. I mean, he's still wearing the same clothes. I think I would not be entirely surprised if the Master had given him like new robes or like a new attire, or like he'd actually slicked his hair back. Like, man, if he had actually made the kid look like a mini Dracula or a mini Nosferatu, or like more accurately maybe like a mini Dracula, then I genuinely would not have been surprised. It would have been one of the wackiest things ever, but I genuinely would not have been surprised if the Master actually, you know, actually dressed him up and slicked his hair back and turned him into like a mini Dracula and everything to actually get him into the right kind of appearance and everything. But no, the kid is still allowed to wear his own original human clothes and everything, but then his mind is being molded to become the one of the Anointed One, and to actually he's being taught to, you know, be ready to drag the Slayer down to hell and to, you know, deliver her unto judgment and penance and all that crap. So he's being trained mentally to be the Anointed One. So I think physical stuff might come later on when he gets turned or something. So yeah, I guess we'll find out. But the Master is training him. The Master is indeed giving him Anointed One Vampire Training 101. So that's definitely happening. Angel, yeah. There's so much I've actually written down about Angel, because they actually gave us a lot. They gave us a lot about him. So I'm going to start with his history. I'm going to start with a bit with his history. So his original name is Angelus. His original name is actually Angelus. I think he was known back when he originated 2 centuries ago, when he actually like was still human / but like when he also turned into a vampire. Because I think when he turned into a vampire, like that also would have been like another ability he retained, to actually look as young and as handsome and as angelic as he was. But then he was known back then as I think he was known back then as Angelus for actually having like an angel's face, having like a really youthful and handsome face. And he also had the tattoo on his back too, the tattoo of like the bird of some kind. So he was known back then. So I think he started off in Ireland. Or at least, at least as a vampire. At least as a vampire, he started off in Ireland. And he was turned by Darla. Darla was actually the one, like she said, I made him. So she was the one who actually created him and actually turned him into the vampire that he is and stuff. So Darla, so their history stretches back that far too. Their history actually stretches back to her being his creator and then eventually his kind of lover for like a time being, for a time, and then stuff happened and he diverged. So he started off in Ireland, and then once he got turned into a vampire, he then moved over to Europe, and then he wreaked havoc there. I think Europe. I think most like folklore, most kind of, I think most, if not all, kind of like horror folklore about like classic horror monsters like vampires and werewolves and lichens and such, and like Wendigo, like all those kind of classic kind of like folklore tales and those kind of classic kind of monster kind of stories and whispers come from like Europe and come from like that kind of area of the world and everything. So it kind of makes sense that him being a vampire, he might kind of migrate to Europe or move over there and start doing stuff. But then he moved to Europe and he started wreaking havoc. He said he moved to Europe and he started wreaking havoc. So I mean, maybe he visited Transylvania, maybe because I really do wonder if Dracula actually exists in this universe. If Dracula actually was, because I think I could be, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely sure if there's actually been any. I'm not entirely sure if there's actually been any mention of Dracula as of yet, like even a reference, because I feel like like Dracula is not just a story, because I mean Dracula is like a story based on Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler was an actual real dude who had an obsession with blood and impaling people, and Dracula is based on him. So he is, even in real life, he is just a story. So I think I do wonder if he would still be a story in this universe, or if he would actually be like an actual real vampire and stuff like it. Like if they, like, I think I would actually like for them to take advantage of the fact that I would like for them to take advantage of the fact that they have created a world where vampires are real, and to actually bring Dracula to life in that sense too. But then I want Dracula to be I personally want Dracula to be like a hermit. I really want him to be like an actual vampire who actually just minds his own business, and he eats on his own terms, and he actually consumes blood, and he actually is a vampire on his own terms, but he literally just doesn't really ally himself like he's like Angel, but just in like a much more angsty and much more kind of socially awkward or socially kind of isolated way. Like he doesn't really mess with other vampires, but he just actually does his own thing, and he sets his own kind of image, he sets his own brand, he has his own image, he sets his own kind of reputation and everything. Like he's not like the others, he actually does his own vampire thing, but he fully went all out on his own image, and he actually did something I really badly want Dracula to not only be real, but to then actually have that kind of reputation throughout the world as well. So I don't know, I guess only time will tell. But be it, Angel moved to Europe and he started wreaking havoc there for like 100 years. For 100 or so years, he was he started off as vicious. He started off as even the Master and Giles both saying that he was actually one of the most vicious. I mean Giles mentioning that he actually would have started off as like a really vicious and really kind of like violent kind of vampire, but then also the Master having known Angel, and the Master saying he was he had hoped and he expected Angel to one day be able to take his rightful place by the Master's side and to actually lead the vampires into like a new world and do all that kind of crazy stuff. So he was I think during those 100 years, he had actually built up enough of a reputation to actually not only be that powerful, but then also to actually to be known to be that violent. And I think that kind of opening, that kind of starting point really makes sense, because again, when you get, I think the common path that's kind of explored is that when you get turned into a vampire, you're really, really susceptible and really kind of like vulnerable to those kinds of urges and to the actual needs and desires of like a vampire, like to consume blood, to cause violence and stuff. And I think also the really interesting little tidbit that they added, being that when you get turned into a vampire, your soul gets taken away. Your soul actually gets taken away and stuff. And I think it's I think even the way that Angel described it, I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but I think even the way that Angel described it, like being like it's like a reminder that he's not human and he can never be human again. So him having his soul taken away was actually what made him so violent. Him being him actually having his soul and his conscience taken away, and him becoming that like it is what made him that much more ruthless and that much more violent. Also, but he was young, and he was transformed when he was young and in his physical prime, so it made him that much more kind of thirsty and like bloodlustful and everything. So there was that whole thing. But then I think it's also like generally speaking, I think I feel like, you know, especially when you're transformed, maybe depending on the person too, you know, some people might be a lot more vulnerable and a lot more susceptible to the urges and the kind of like desires and thirst that a vampire has for blood, so then they might be much more kind of ruthless and stuff in killing. But then as time goes on, they build up experience and they become more efficient and more ruthless as well. So because of that, he became known as to be one of the most violent and one of the most kind of vicious vampires in vampire history. And I think I think again that whole kind of soul being taken away thing, that also reminds me of something else from Being Human. In one of the seasons when Hal turned the other guy, like the guy that got hit by a car, and then Hal saved him, but by turning him into a vampire, he kind of hid him away, but then he actually did secretly teach him what it meant to be a vampire and what his traits were and everything, and he actually showed him, like a little tidbit they explored on that show, was that the devil took away the vampire's reflection to he gave them everything they had, like the devil gave them their strength and their speed and their like immortality and everything, but then to take away the one thing that made them human, he took away their reflection. So that he took away their reflection so that he took away their reflection so they could never see what they looked like again. They could never see what they became, like their reflection was like a sign of their humanity and what once was, but then to restrict them of seeing what they once were and to actually show them that they now were technically nothing because they were dead and they were undead and stuff like that. Like he actually took away their reflections. So I actually hearing Angel say that his soul being taken away was like a, you know, sign of his humanity being taken away. Actually reminded me of the reflection being taken away as to show that their humanity was taken away in that too. So kind of like a parallel to that in my mind. So that was a cool tidbit. So yeah, and I think I think actually talking a bit more about the soul being taken away. So then he did that. So then he actually wreaked havoc across Europe for like 100 years, and then after that, like he spent 100 years in America. He actually moved to the USA, and I mean, don't know if he moved there when it became the. I mean, I don't know enough about American history to actually know when it became the USA. Probably sometime after they was colonized and everything. But yeah, no, but then he moved over to America, and then he actually he actually shunned vampires. He actually shunned vampirism and stuff. And I think so then I mean that would kind of raise the question of what happened and what made him kind of change paths so suddenly and so kind of swiftly and everything. So the answer is that he actually then he came across like a tribe of Romani. I think he used gypsy as well, but I think I've heard that's like not as like appropriate of like an actual term to use. So you know, correct me if that's actually like true, or if that's, you know, like what the, you know, like the, you know, the atmosphere around that word is. But then he came across like a Romani tribe, and one of their girls he actually fed on, and as punishment for having done so, they restored his soul. They actually restored his soul and gave him a conscience again. So that's actually just like I said, the main reason Angel is actually so different from the rest of the vampires. Like he actually still he actually had his soul, his conscience, and his humanity restored. So in that sense, he is technically a human vampire. He's a vampire who actually can feel again. He can actually feel emotions and remorse and guilt and everything again. So I think it's fair to say that since then he has actually lived his undead life, feeling nothing but remorse. I mean, I don't know if he would. I think he might have mentioned actually still feeling the remorse of everything he's done. So I think them restoring his remorse also actually made him feel the added weight of all the massacring and all the kind of ravaging that he'd done before too, like all the mass murdering he'd done before in Europe. He must still feel the guilt and remorse from that on top of everything else. But then moving on from that too, I think that could have also what made him shun them. I think him feeling all the guilt building up from all those years of blood kind of, you know, like consuming, and him doing his rampage across Europe, like all the remorse building up from remorse built up from those years suddenly landing on him then must have been what made him shun the rest of the vampires, and actually like made him kind of try and isolate himself from that life and trying to, you know, live a life outside of vampirism after that. So then restoring his humanity actually made him kind of become like a much more different vampire, like one who still consumed blood because he needed to, because then he still has like a fridge in his little kind of underground home, full of blood and everything. So, and I think those ones are actually blood bags too. So I think I mean, I don't know if blood banks would be a thing. I think blood banks, is that even a thing in real life? I think blood banks. I think blood banks. I mean, I'm pretty sure like those are actually a thing. Like for like donate, like for when you like donate blood, you get blood banks and everything. So I don't know if that would be a thing this far back, or like if it would be a thing like this far back in like the 90s, or because I mean, I think it must have been, right? I think it must have been blood donation would definitely would have been a thing. But either way, either blood banks or even just like him sneaking into hospitals and doing it that way, he must kind of still, because those are definitely kind of like blood bags that you get for like medical purposes that he's actually been using, and not just like like literal shopping bags full of blood with like a little straw underneath. Like they're definitely like actual blood stored for medical purposes, being kept in like a fridge and everything. So and that also brings me to again like a lot of parallels from here are being drawn in my mind to Being Human. Again, in Being Human, there was another reference to that too. I think in Being Human they also explored the kind of idea of vampires feeding on blood from bags, but then also like in Being Human, the way it was explored was that blood was not as good, or wasn't as useful, and actually wouldn't really kind of have the same benefit on humans because it was dead blood. It was actually like there was no life left in it. Like like vampires needed fresh human blood, like straight from the source, and not from having been stored overnight in like a cold kind of bag or anything. So I think that kind of cold like refrigerated blood wouldn't be as useful or as kind of as nutritious for them, so they actually needed blood straight from the source. I think, I don't know if that would still apply here, if blood in bags still kind of works well enough to keep him satiated. But then of course, but then when we see him with Joyce in his arms with fresh blood seeping out of her wounds, that is what actually officially turns him. So then that kind of that scent, that kind of like all of his senses kind of reactivating, and his vampire form coming out as soon as he sees and smells the blood, kind of shows that he still definitely prefers, like if he were to consume, he would definitely still prefer fresh human blood, but then he keeps himself grounded, and he keeps himself kind of somewhat kind of satisfied with kind of age-old kind of human blood in blood bags and stuff that's refrigerated, and just kind of keeps it cold in there and everything. So he has actively kind of like fed that way instead, and actually kind of isolated himself from the rest of the vampires. And now I think, the season started, he's actively helping a slayer face off against his own kind. So I think that is what, I think that is like another thing his kind of conscience allows him to do, is to help him fight the good fight, and to help her and to actually help her take on actual threats too, because he knows that from years of living as one, he knows that there are actually vampires out there, he knows that there are vampires out there that are genuine threats that need taken care of. So he knows the Slayer is the best one to take care of them, so that's why he's actually been so cryptic and so distant and stuff. And that's why he's been so cryptic, but then he's been so distant because he really doesn't want Buffy to actually have to end up finding out that he is a vampire, and that he that's what he really like. The fact he doesn't want her to find out that he is really sending her off to he's actually helping her kill off his own kind and members of his own kind, and then because then if she also finds out what he really is, then it's gonna change everything. So it's really gonna shift her entire worldview. It's gonna change how she sees him and how she feels about him and everything. So that was like the focal point of this episode too, like the fact that reveal of Angel being a vampire kind of changes everything that she thought about him, and it kind of really makes her feel conflicted and everything. So, and he killed his family too. He mentioned his family was dead, like all of them, but then I think the later on in the midst of his own kind of anger and his own deep-rooted violent kind of outbursts and everything, he actually mentioned that he killed his own family. Like I think it was actually like right at the beginning when he was turned into a vampire, and his humanity and soul were taken away, and he lost all sense of direction and that sense of like humanity and like a moral direction. He killed his family, he killed his friends, he killed his friends' family, like everyone he knew, everyone who knew him, and everyone who knew who he originally was too, like everyone who knew him as he was human was killed off. So I think he really started off on like the more personal kind of home front on the rampage, and then he actually moved into just going around being like an all-round kind of human hunting vampire, just like starting off like more personally, and then turning into like a free-for-all kind of vampire kind of vampiric killer and everything. So That's I mean, like I think alongside, because I think, you know, like alongside killing innocent people too, I think that might also be one of the more kind of begrudging kind of you know griefs and bereavements to actually live with, like to actually know that you were the one responsible for killing everyone who ever knew you and everyone who ever loved you and everything, and it's also all because of like a bloodlust you really can't control, and a bloodlust that is empowered all the more by the fact that your humanity has literally been stripped away. So pretty dark stuff, pretty damn dark stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I think the Buffy and Angel stuff was explored very, very heavily and in very, very angsty ways in this episode. The angst, my god, the angst. I think, okay, I'll say it right. I do like any kind of casual or even dedicated viewer. I do enjoy a bit of angst. Angst always kind of feels, you know, like, I think for me, angst is always somewhat like more like it's either painful in a way that I enjoy it because of that, or like it's either painful in a way that I enjoy it, or it's like annoying in a way that I hate it. There's almost no in between. It's either so painful I actually enjoy it, or it's actually so annoying that I hate it and I just want there to be a resolution. So like the annoying stuff was actually with, you know, like the actual tension between Buffy and Angel, like once the reveal happened and once she actually found out, and then of course like her being conflicted over killing someone she cared about and killing someone who she thought cared about her and stuff like that. And then the annoying stuff was the stuff with Darla and Joyce and everything, like that kind of stuff, like, you know, because then like as soon as the hospital thing happened and as soon as they revealed her being in the hospital, I just so badly wanted her to hurry up and mention, oh yeah, your friend Darla came by, and then being like, wait, Darla, she's a bad vampire, she must have been the one who did this. And like I just so badly I wanted that reveal to happen as quickly as possible, so then even if Buffy would still feel hateful towards Angel for whatever reason, she would at least feel hateful still knowing the truth. I just wanted that truth to be out on the table and known to everyone. Like that kind of angst is the kind of angst I hate, where it's a slow burn, and you know the hero genuinely thinks that the anti-hero is like an actual villain and deserves to die. And like actually like that kind of angst I hate. It's so annoying and I hate it. But then the painful stuff is, you know, like the painful stuff I actually kind of enjoy. Whereas like, you know, Buffy is so conflicted because again, like she spent this entire time. I mean, again, I think it's like she knows she has good reason not to kill him, because again, he has had every opportunity up close and personal to kill her, and he hasn't taken it. Like even when he transformed, he didn't really take the opportunity. He literally like jumped out the window after that. You know, he actively avoided actually using his fangs on her, so there was that. But then from day one, literally from day one, he has spent every he has spent every waking midnight hour giving her cryptic kind of signals and cryptic messages that later turn out to be really helpful advice, and he has helped take down other equally vicious and equally violent and dangerous vampires, and he's helped her take down threats from his own kind. He's helped her take down threats from vampires and everything. Like from day one, he's done nothing but help her, and actually, and also even from then keeping his distance because he knows what he is, and he knows exactly how she might treat him if she finds out the truth, and he knows exactly what her initial reaction would be and what her initial reaction might be. So then because of that, he's actually then keeping a distance, but then whenever he shows up, he brings nothing but benefits. When he shows up, he brings nothing but advice and tips, and again, cryptic tips and cryptic advice and everything, but still he brings nothing but benefits and stuff. So he really is there to help. And then I think the fact that he's actually been so soft and so, you know, helpful and so ironically warm towards her too. I think he's been cold in like how little time he spends with her and how large the time gaps between them actually meeting up. And then he's been warm whenever he actually has shown up. He's been warm and, you know, friendly and compassionate and everything. So because of that, she feels nothing but conflict in actually killing him. And then it's like, you know, I think, of course, Xander being fucking Xander Harris, he's just, you know, like, he's just like, you know what, hey, you're the Slayer, he's the vamp, you know what you gotta do, you gotta stake him through that big probably equally buff heart of his, and you gotta stake that handsome man in his handsome chest and put the handsome man down once and for all. I think like he's just fully on board. To begin without of jealousy, he's fully on board with Buffy potentially having to kill Angel. Is like, oh well, hey, you're the Slayer. He's a vampire. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. The job needs to be done. You're the Slayer. That's your job. So you need to do that. And then Giles too. Giles is also wary, but I think he's also kind of like acknowledging the fact that Angel is not only a vampire, but then also I think also the exploration of there being there possibly being good vampires too, because I think even Xander asking for the sake of clarification that Angel is violent, he's asking Giles, could there be such a thing as like a non-violent or like a good vampire? And then Giles knowing from his own Giles kind of taking in information from his own research and not actually having experience with dealing with good vampires in general. He's vampires are typically super violent and super dangerous beings. So I think it's better to actually kill a vampire when you come across them, as opposed to risking it and actually seeing if they're worthy of redemption or worthy of being saved or something. So with Angel, he's the exception that they really just didn't know about. He was the exception that they really didn't know about, because they didn't really get to know him, and he wasn't really around long enough for them to actually get to know him. So, but again, just angst. So I think I'm really curious moving forward as to how they'll approach that too, because I think he did leave by the end of it. He actually did leave by the end of it. And he actually did kind of make a point of saying that this whole vampire Slayer thing will never really work out between them. So then, because it's best if he actually does leave, and especially with him having been so involved with Buffy so far, literally brought danger to her family home, and then her mother was attacked, and her mother was hospitalized thanks to Darla. So that's because of Angel's involvement in Buffy's life and everything. So then if he wants to avoid another occurrence like that, then he might just have to leave. So again, I'm just kind of really wondering if that is really like a semi-permanent exit. Maybe that's the last we see of him this season, but then he might show up again next season with some new stuff. Because especially if next season is when things really start picking up a notch, then I think especially story-wise and character-wise, then that might be the perfect time to bring Angel back in, if he's there to introduce another villain, or if he's there to introduce a new story. If he's there to help introduce a new storyline, then that would be the perfect time to bring him in. Otherwise, then we might really only see him in his actual spin-off, and then that will be when that comes. Again, I think I do still have, someone right from the get-go of my episode 1 reaction, someone actually did very, very graciously post a PDF thing from Google Drive of someone who's compiled that kind of encyclopedia of completely spoiler-free, well, mostly spoiler-free information on Buffy, and when to when to watch certain things. I think there's actually I actually don't know if it's in season 2 or season 4. I think it might be in season 2, or I don't know, I think I have to check it again, but I think at some point, a quarter of the way through one of the seasons, Angel season 4 does pick up, Angel does actually pick up his own show and everything, and then you actually have to watch those episodes at an actual certain point sequentially to actually try and actually get the story in. So that's going to be really, really fun to schedule and try and actually keep on top of. So that's going to be super duper fun. Yeah, not complicated at all. So that's going to be really fun. But yeah, either way, I think whatever happens, if he comes back in Buffy, then great. Gonna look forward to that reappearance. Either way, if he doesn't come back to TV until his actual spin-off, then I guess I'm willing to wait until the spin-off. But either way, I think did this so far. This does feel like a semi-permanent kind of exit. This is the last that we see of him in this season, and then the rest of the season is just Buffy and co. and stuff like that. So I guess I'll probably have to wait until season 1 to actually get any kind of proper confirmation of his whereabouts and see what he's actually up to and what's going on with our boy Angel, with our cryptic handsome man Angel. So yeah, but there was a lot of kissing, a lot of kissing between Angel and Buffy, and I can only imagine that they are two equally great kissers. I can only imagine that they are two equally great and equally passionate kind of kissers, and that they, that's why they kiss each other so well, and so, equally, again, their first kiss went from a kiss to a full-on, fully blown makeout session in her bedroom. Not only that, but Buffy's makeout game was so powerful and so strong and so passionate that it literally, it was literally enough of an actual physical trigger to actually bring the vampire out, to actually bring the beast out in an Angel. Her kissing game was so strong, it literally, unleashed the beast in Angel, and then he took the beast and literally yeeted himself out the window and everything, and then she yeeted him out after she kind of, found him feasting on her mother and everything. So yeah, but either way, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar, so Sarah Michelle Gellar's kind of, game is so strong that, David just kind of magically CGI transforms into a vampire. So yeah, I think that kind of implication is really, really fun to kind of look to actually kind of to actually look at and everything. So that's fun. But I think it also speaks volumes when not just two. I think in both cases, it kind of speaks volumes when both two characters and two actors are just actually so kind of, their chemistry is so good, but then also I think they're actually so comfortable with each other that, what's probably scripted as a simple kissing scene between them can easily kind of be translated and be kind of empowered and advanced into more like an actual makeout scene that actually kind of fits the tone a bit more and actually kind of exemplifies their relationship a bit more and everything too. Because I think so far, I think there hasn't been admittedly there hasn't been a relationship between them, but then there is that kind of hidden, kind of undeniable kind of attraction between them that both of them kind of know is there, but then for the sake of actual angsty, more tense kind of romance, neither of them is actually properly acknowledging, but there is that kind of romance in there that is really only solidified and personified through them making out so passionately and them actually doing that kind of thing. So I think it's just it's just some really kind of obvious kind of solid acting to see between them to actually see to see what they make of the relationship between Angel and Buffy and to see what they actually make of a script. Because again, I think I'm willing to bet that the script doesn't really say much more than, oh, they kiss passionately or they kiss for a few seconds and then that turns into the actors themselves actually taking the kiss and flying off down the road with it. So yeah, even to start off with that makeout session in her bedroom, and then even at the bronze too, that final goodbye kiss took a good few minutes, and even Willow actually watching from the distance too, actually, just kind of spectating them too, that final goodbye kiss took a good few minutes of them actually savoring that kind of moment between them before they actually finally had to part ways and everything. So yeah, just goddamn. So yeah, Buffy and Bangel. Maybe I'm Bangel sounds catchy enough. So I'm guessing that might be the ship name, Bangel. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get more Bangel in the future. Maybe not. But I guess only time will tell. So yeah. And then, of course, there's some history between Darla and Angel. I was about to say Darla and Buffy. I was genuinely about to say Darla and Buffy, but no, Darla and Buffy just have some violent fighting history between them and stuff. But no, Darla and Angel have some history. She's the one who turned him. She's actually the one who made him. Actually turned him way back when into a vampire. So that is, again, there's a hell of a way to start a relationship. There's one hell of a way to start a relationship. If you really like someone, you just suddenly turn them into an immortal, bloodthirsty monster, and then you live on just, to be fair, right? I think, on the one hand, I think one aspect of it depends on whether or not you actually enjoy villains and you enjoy villainy and that kind of cruelty. But then on the other hand, it's that honestly is, any other adaptations or stories aside, genuinely speaking, that is actually one of the kind of most interesting ways to spark a romance in a supernatural and in that kind of fantasy kind of genre. Someone who is a vampire who actually loves someone else so much that they actually, hopefully willingly too, hopefully, because I highly doubt. I mean, I'm willing to bet that Darla maybe seduced him and then turned him or something, or maybe actually just kind of took a fancy to him and then turned him probably against his will, or actually maybe kind of seduced. Because I think usually when it's like a female vampire, usually either way. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, usually either way, it's like some seduction is involved to actually get the human closer to the vampire, and then the vampire transforms them. But then I guess like a bit of seduction and like a bit of actual trust kind of garnering would have been involved beforehand. But yeah, I mean, usually I think it's just like generally speaking, but also genuinely speaking, I feel like actually like that kind of that kind of vampiric unity kind of thing is like a really interesting way to actually kickstart like a romance thing, and like that actually to kickstart like a love story or like a story of like partnership that spans the ages and everything, like that kind of thing could like is actually genuinely kind of interesting to consume and to see how it actually unfolds and everything. So I'm not completely against it, but then in this case, of course, Darla is like a fully violent and evil vampire who's intent on destruction and death and murder, and then she tried to coax Angel into that life too, and for a century and a bit, it definitely worked. And then afterwards he had his soul restored, and then he decided to actually walk away from all the violence that he had actually been a part of, and to actually kind of like to denounce himself of that violence, and to actually kind of live a quieter kind of life and stuff. So he did that. But I think even when they first kind of reunited in his room, he mentioned that she used to dress up in kimonos, which I think kimonos. I think kimonos. I think kimonos are the dragons. Kimono dragons are the actual lizards. I think kimonos. I'm pretty sure it's like ancient kind of Japanese attire too, like the kind of dresses that Japanese women women would wear in ancient times, like in kimono dresses. I don't know if like Darla would have been in that culture, or if she actually would have actually like donned that kind of culture, or maybe even like in worse terms or worse times appropriated it or something. But then like he mentioned her having donned kimonos before, and now she's going for the whole kind of Catholic school kind of look. But then like their history goes way back. And I think even she mentioned Budapest. I think like me, being me, I hear Budapest, I instantly think of Black Widow, and also like Black Widow's history with Hawkeye in Budapest as well. So, I mean, I did initially say that, like it was actually it was like Hawkeye and Black Widow all over again with Darla and Buffy, but I think the clearer cut case here is that, Buffy is Black Widow, and Angel kind of may as well be Hawkeye. So yeah, but now it seems like Black Widow and Hawkeye are actually going their separate ways, and there's no longer really much of like a friendship or relationship there. So yeah, but Darla and Angel, so yeah, they have history, and she turned him, and she trained him, and she worked him up. She broke him down as a human and rebuilt him as a really ruthless and vicious and like notorious kind of vampire for doing what he did. So she was responsible for that. So then then I think she kind of built him up in the master's eyes to be the one who would succeed him and or kind of be on his right hand side for all of eternity, and to actually help lead him and the new vampires into the new world and everything, and to actually kind of complete probably even complete any kind of future missions like the harvest and everything else that would come before it. But then instead, I think what definitely happened instead was, once he actually had his soul restored, instead of using that knowledge to lead, he actually used that knowledge instead to actually, he's garnered knowledge from Darla and the Master over the course of 100 years, and then once he had his soul restored and he had his humanity restored, he then used that information to actually help Buffy take down stuff like the Harvest and the Anointed One, and then actually giving her all these different kind of tips and advice on all the things that he knows are set to happen at the hands of the Master, and any monsters that he sends Buffy's way and everything. So yeah, he's actually been using information given to him and actually ingrained in him by Darla and the Master to actually help take down their plans and to actually help take down like their kind and everything. So yeah, he's been helpful. So yeah, and then of course Darla kind of knowing that Buffy's mother would probably be at home, so then her actually kind of tricking her way into Buffy's house, and then actually getting herself invited, and then actually feasting on. Well, I mean, she didn't fully feast on her. I think she said she did. I mean, she mentioned she took a little bit, but then I think by the time they got to the hospital, I think the doctors actually did reveal that she had actually lost like a significant amount of blood, and enough for her to actually be hospitalized, and she was actually low on iron. She was low on iron, so they were actually giving her iron and stuff, and actually likely feeding her other kind of nutrients that she had lost from that blood. So there's that, but then I think as soon as that scene happened, and as soon as he transformed, and as soon as she actually flung him into her arms, I was like, okay, you need to, transform back again, actually try and heal her, or try and fix her, or try and do something. But then the door closes, and you see Buffy walk in and stuff, and then but Angel's still standing there, and he's still got his vampire face on, and then there's still that whole kind of scene of like, Joyce has 2 pinholes in her neck and blood seeping out, and Angel's there with his vampire face ready to do some stuff, and then literally not 2 seconds later, yeet through the front window. She, like, as soon as she sees that, it's like no words, no hesitation, just picks him up and just yeets him, probably even just roundhouse kicks him out the window, and then she's like, and then she's like, you never come round, you never visit my family again. If you do, I will kill you, because this is a line that you may or may not have crossed, but I'm willing to believe that you did cross it, so never come here again, and we are done. So Darla successfully framed Angel into being the one who harmed Buffy's mother and put her in the hospital, but then Darla is revealed to be the one, and again, that kind of angst I hated, that kind of reveal from Buffy's mother took way too. I mean, granted, she may also have suffered from like a bit of memory loss, and she was still kind of overwhelmed by what happened, so she didn't really reveal immediately, but still, the reveal came too late, and I hated the angst that was leading up to it, and the angst that was produced as a result of it, so that kind of angst I hate, so there was that, but yeah, even that final fight between Buffy and Angel, that like they still can't bring themselves to actually use the perfect opportunities to actually kill each other and to actually end each other. Like they still care, they still know deep down that they're not really bad people, and even Angel kind of knows that even Angel knows that there's like a dark history to him because of what he's done with his own free will and his own body and his own mind and everything. But then even once his soul is restored, he's still kind of I think especially once he got his soul back, he kind of cherished it, and he still kind of actually used it to his actual full advantage, and he still used that to try and actually decide for like a better path and a better future ahead of him and everything. So that's been a whole thing and a half. So yeah, Darla, I think Angel killed Darla in the end too. Angel actually came in from behind with the same arrow, I think it was, and then he stuck her right in the heart with it, and then that kind of killed Darla. So he killed his creator, and then also someone who he actually did have like a very much more deep and very, very emotional history with and stuff. So that kind of forced him back into the shadows. So yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of emotional kind of yeah. Oh, so yeah, a lot of stuff went down. Quite a bit went down. Again, very, 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 very well executed and well done, Angel-centric kind of episode. A lot of history to Angel, some long-awaited history to Angel. And thinking about it, right? I think it actually did hit me when the reveal happened. It did hit me that if I actually didn't know about Angel being a vampire going, because I think that was actually it was something I mentioned from the get-go and stuff. That I actually knew about the Angel spin-off, and that I knew Angel was a vampire too, and that I knew Angel was a vampire too was actually something I mentioned from the get-go. But then I think thinking about it too, I was like, even if I didn't know, I really would not have needed to wait that long. It was like they literally reveal it 7 episodes into the first season, so I think it's really not that long of a wait to actually have found that out anyway. So I mean, I found out because of like a clip I saw on TV way back when I was a kid, and I was channel surfing, and I came across like a clip of Angel of David Boreanaz actually doing the transformation on screen, and I recognized his face, and then I actually saw Angel and stuff. So and I think back then, I think that clip alone kind of scared me so much. I didn't really watch the rest of the episode or show or anything. So that was just like channel surfing, and then I was like flicking through and just seeing that and then skipping right past it and everything. So that's all I ever really saw. But then I think that was my first glimpse, and I think a few years down the line I kind of heard about Buffy, and then I heard about Angel and stuff, and I just kind of knew. and everything. But even if I didn't know about it, I definitely just would not have had to wait that long. It just would just like they literally reveal it, like they literally reveal it halfway through the first season. So it's like a pretty kind of early on kind of like early established kind of, you know, little kind of piece of lore about Angel, about who he is and what he is and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, I mean, like, let me know what you guys thought of, let me know, like, how you guys felt and what you guys thought of, when this information was revealed that he was actually a vampire, like, if you knew, if you knew that that's something that they were leading up to, or if you knew that you know, like, that there was something off about him, or that he was something different, or if you kind of didn't see it coming at all, and you thought, oh, like, I thought, I knew something was weird, but I never would have guessed he was a vampire, and stuff like that. Like, you know, like, let me know what your reactions were way back when, and what your thoughts are, and stuff like that. I'm really curious to know, you know, like how that kind of how that kind of a reveal would have worked, like, you know, in real time, live, when the show was actually airing and stuff. So, you know, or even like whenever you got around to watching the actual show itself and actually discovered for the first time that Angel was a vampire and everything. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in that regard too. So yeah. And one thing before I actually forget to mention it as well, I think Willow kind of seems to have the feels for Xander. I mean, it's not necessarily new. I don't think. I think over time she has mentioned kind of feelings towards him and everything. So I'm kind of wondering where they might go with that. Like, if they actually might pull like a best friends fall in love kind of thing with her and Xander, or if they're gonna pull something else, or like, because I mean, you know, I think she definitely seemed to bounce back well enough from the pack stuff. Like, the pack stuff were kind of like the pack stuff really kind of went in deep of Willow, of Xander actually kind of of actually kind of, you know, having hurt Willow and everything. But then with this one, she seems to have actually bounced back pretty well, and like even her saying that she actually has fantasies of Willow actually of Xander actually kissing her and everything. So she actually has fantasies of actually kissing him and possibly making out with him or something. So she has those feelings towards him. So I'm curious as to how they might explore that and how they actually might move forward with that too, and seeing how Xander might react if she actually does at some point kind of summon the courage to tell him how she really feels. I mean, I'm hoping even regular Xander will be a bit more easy. If regular Xander really doesn't feel that way towards her, then I'm really hoping he might actually be like a lot easier than Hyena Xander, and he actually might actually like let her down softly and actually, you know, like reject her peacefully and you know, like respectfully and everything. But you know, I'm curious to see how they like if they do advance with it. Then I'm really curious as to how it might go and how they might develop it and how they might kind of show the whole best friends falling in love thing and stuff like that. So yeah, but I mean, Willow has those feelings, so I guess only time will tell where those feelings go and how they develop and how they get portrayed. But I think it seems cute. It seems kind of cute. Like, you know, I think because they too, like, Willow and Xander also have like a history between them of actually being really, really great friends and being there for each other, and actually kind of like in terms of also kind of being equally kind of social outcasts. I think like they're both there for each other. They're both there for each other. They both understand each other, and they both know each other well enough. And there's like a trust and like a strong pillars of trust and communication kind of built between them and stuff. So like enough is there maybe for something to happen, but I guess, you know, we just have to wait and see exactly what Willow does with her feelings and how Xander responds to them and stuff. So only time will tell. But Willow has fantasies of kissing Xander, so that's a thing. So yeah. I'm also willing to bet that this is also the first time that Joyce herself has actually been caught up in the actual dangers and in the whirlwind of Buffy's job. Because I think, you know, I don't personally think that Joyce has ever actually been kind of harmed or been caught in the crossfire of Buffy's kind of Slayer life in any way. So I think this is the first time she's actually been caught by the monsters and she's actually been harmed by them. So I think I'm curious as to how Buffy might move forward in that sense too. Like if she might kind of employ more security, or if she might actually try and be more kind of discreet and more kind of subtle and maybe even more effective in taking out threats too. Maybe this time going forward she might take out threats in a way that she can send a message to, like, you know, like coming after me is one thing, but if you dare come after my mother or my family or my friends or anything like that, then you will surely have hell to pay. So maybe she actually might be a bit more kind of, she might like intentionally become a bit more stronger and a bit more kind of not violent per se, but she might then become she might then become like much more like a threat and much more like an actual kind of danger to the monsters that she actually kills, in order to actually send a message like that, and maybe even like being a bit more protective towards her mother too, to actually try and actually keep her safe from any future incidents like that happening. So, you know, it's like seeing Joyce in that position was still pretty scary, and it's still pretty kind of worrying to see what would happen to her. But she's okay. Because I was worried that Darla might actually could try and go ahead and actually try and transform her, but no, she just kind of needed. She just needed. I mean, that might have been her original plan, but then once Angel actually showed up, she then just kind of decided to actually leave her in his arms, literally, and to actually kind of expose him and to actually try and draw him out as the actual vampire that she once knew and loved and everything. So, you know, like that might have been her plan, then changed and everything. But Joyce, I mean, she is, you know, she needs to be protected. She needs to be protected. She is a precious mama bear, and she needs to be protected, and she needs to, you know, be kept safe and away from all of this kind of supernatural danger stuff and everything. So hopefully no more kind of, you know, crossfire incidents with Joyce in the future. So yeah. But yeah, that is it. That is definitely it. All my initial thoughts out on the table and everything. I've kind of covered all my bases in terms of notes and everything. So that's everything I can actually think of upon initial viewing. So yeah, any other thoughts that I've missed out on it? Any other thoughts that I've missed out on? Any other thoughts that you want to share as well? I'm really curious to actually see what you guys thought of this episode, and what your initial thoughts and reactions were to that reveal and everything that followed, and how this episode went down and how it actually affects the main story and how it affects Buffy and everything. So any thoughts you have, any opinions, whatever, I would love to hear them. So go ahead and have at it in the comments below and everything. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got for this one. So that was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 7. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and button that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Buffy. And the full-length reaction available over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.